There's some confusion, I think, sometimes in terms of the role of an API gateway in the whole serving of an API. We're going to dive into the API gateway and the implementation of it. So first of all, can you just define what is the role of the API gateway?
In my opinion, an API gateway is only supposed to expose API in a secure way. That means it's a kind of proxy, but it's a little bit more than a proxy. It may handle high security level, such as, as an API gateway, I will ensure that only this application will be able to consume this API. I may also say, this application can consume this API, but it can only use a subset of all of the available operations. An API gateway may also provide features such as throttling to say, you can use the API, but you can only do, let's say, 10 calls per minute.
Yes.
That is, for me, the role of the API gateway. If you put something else inside it, sometimes it can be interesting to do that, but most of the time you are, for me, working on the domain of what should be inside the implementation.
And this is what I wanted to get to, because I know you have some thoughts on this matter in terms of where the boundaries should lie between the API gateway and the implementation. So, because I know a lot of API gateways will allow you to do transformations and caching and perhaps do other lookups and all these sort of various things. And it's the lines are starting to blur between the gateway and the implementation of the service being proxied. So can we dive into that? Where should those boundaries lie, and what's the reasons for that?
In my opinion, what is what is tied to business rules must not be in the gateway. So if you need, for practical purpose, to say, we are returning data as JSON, but it could be interesting to return them as CSV. It could be just a technical transformation without business involved. Maybe it could be put in the gateway. But if you are starting to say, now if the user is of type admin, we will do this or do that and call the service and call 2 operations instead of 1, take some data, add them, subtract them, and that's business rules. And that must not be in the API gateway. It must be inside the implementation. So for me, the separation is really, if it's high level security, if it's a general concern, just technical concern and so on, it can work. But the implementation must be the owner of all what is tied to the business domain, the business rule, the business intelligence.
And what is the reason for that? And what's the danger of if you have logic in both places?
For what I've seen, I would say, remember what happened with ESBs. I've worked in companies having ESBs. We have put a lot of business logic in there, and it was really a total mess because it was a proprietary technology needing really specific skills to develop in that. And when we wanted to get rid of that, it was really, really, really hard. But if we had stick to say, we are creating our application, they are there, they hold the business logic and so on. And on top of that, we had maybe a security layer doing all that stuff. If you want to change it, we can. So based on my experience, developing business logic inside gateways or ESBs for that matter requires actually usually specific skills. You need to understand the product, how it works, how you can develop on it. Sometimes you don't have all the features you would have using regular programming language such as Java, .NET, or whatever. You don't have unit tests. You don't have. You can create put in place CI/CD easily and so on. You can test in isolation. And so that's why I prefer to keep the business logic outside of the API gateway.
Yeah, I mean, there can be enormous value if they prove in these spaces of shop comparison with insurance or car loans or just talk about your conference. Was the conference always part of the